The Television Critics Association takes center stage this week on TVEnthusiast, the week's news.
The week's news on TVEnthusiast.com.
It's the week of August 5th, 2016. Let's get started. First up, let's talk a little bit about HBO. Alan Ball, the creator of 6 Feet Under, has a new family drama ordered by HBO. It's about a family, a philosophy professor, his lawyer wife, their 3 adopted children, and 1 naturally born child. One of the children begins seeing things which could be a sign of mental illness, or could be something else, Game of Thrones is on HBO too. And Alan Ball has worked on shows like True Blood, so who knows? Also at the HBO TCA event, it was revealed that Deadwood movie is currently being written by series creator David Milch. Jon Stewart had signed a contract with HBO to develop shows. His first is going to be an animated cable news parody. This is going to be with a fast turnaround time similar to South Park so that they can stay very topical. HBO also addressed True Detective, which a lot of people thought was gone and done and dead. HBO still considers the property to be valuable, however, and say that they're considering a 3rd season with a different writer. This would still have the creator Nick Pizzolatto involved as a supervising producer. Of course, at the HBO panel, most people want to know about Game of Thrones. Well, they confirmed that the Season 8 will be the final season of the series. They also said that they're considering a spin-off series and that they have been in talks about doing a spin-off series. In other Game of Thrones news, a 20th anniversary edition of the first book, Game of Thrones, is being released. It includes a bunch of new artwork, so apparently there are 38 new pieces of art. There are 73 black and white pieces of art and 8 color pieces of art in the book. Total, but 38 of those are going to be new. And it also includes an introduction by comedian John Hodgman. Now on to Starz. Starz announced a few shows they have in development. First, Tomorrow Today. This is developed by 50 Cent, who also developed Power for their channel. It's a superhero story about a veteran from Chicago, from the south side of Chicago. He's in prison. He's experimented on by a prison doctor trying to make a perfect man. The prisoner wants to use his new powers for good, but the prison doctor's intention is to make the perfect killing machine. Another series in development is Pussy Valley, about strippers at the Pink Pony in Mississippi. Teresa is also in development. This is about an undocumented immigrant in the wealthy circles of Los Angeles. It's based on a telenovela of the same name. And Dirty Girl Social Club rounds out the list. This is about friends since college, and they're now in New York, and they're dealing with life in the big city. This is based on a book by Alicia Valdez. Over at ABC, there was some interesting talk about Marvel. So they recently canceled Agent Carter, and they also turned down the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spin-off, Marvel's Most Wanted. But apparently there is still some shows in development related to Marvel at ABC. They weren't going to give any details specifically about what those projects were, but that they were considering many options and there had been an active negotiation. In other news related to Marvel and ABC, Jason O'Mara from The Good Wife has been cast in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He'll be playing the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D. At the end of the last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we saw that Agent Coulson was no longer director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now we have a new character in charge who he will be played by Jason O'Mara. The character in question dates back in the comic history all the way to the 1940s. This will be a deep cut comic character, so we'll see what comes from that. ABC also talked about development with Lucasfilm. They say they're currently trying to work out an idea for a Star Wars TV series, and are actively talking to Lucasfilm about it, but there is no timetable at this point for when a show like that would come, or if it will actually make it out of development. And now some casting news. Brendan Fraser has joined the cast of Showtime's The Affair in a recurring role. James Purefoy from Rome, Martha Higueredo from Royal Pains, Ditchin Lockman from The Last Ship, and Leonardo Nam from Westworld have all joined the cast of Netflix's new sci-fi series Altered Carbon. Calista Flockhart is back on Supergirl. It was up in question if she was going to be on the show. The show is moving production from Los Angeles to Vancouver, and people were wondering if it was going to continue on with all of the original cast. Calista Flockhart was one of the ones that was more busy and less attainable. She will be reappearing on the series, but as a recurring guest role rather than as a regular. Peter Capaldi is not expected to leave his role as the Doctor on Doctor Who when Stephen Moffat, the series' current showrunner, exits at the end of next season. Moffat himself said that he expects Capaldi to stick around on there. He isn't expecting to write out the Doctor and or this current iteration of the Doctor, and that Peter Capaldi is really enjoying his role as the Doctor and sees no reason for it to stop. Some shows have recently been canceled. Houdini and Doyle, the Harry Houdini and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle team-up series on Fox, has been canceled. Powers, the superhero series on the PlayStation Network, has also been canceled. Now let's talk about some new shows. Christodora is in development by Paramount TV. Cary Fukunaga, who directed the first season of True Detective, and Ira Sachs and Mauricio Zacharias, who worked on Little Men, are developing this series based on the book by Tim Murphy. This takes place in Manhattan's East Village and deals with AIDS, hard drugs, and the book spans decades. So this will be a long-running series, apparently, with lots of social issues in a set area. Anime fans take note. Sword Art Online is in development by none other than Laeta Kalogridis from Avatar, who is writing the pilot for a Sword Art Online live-action series. It's based on the light novel, which was also adapted as a manga and later an anime. No network is attached yet to the property. Black Flags is a new series in development. It's a mini-series about the rise of ISIS. This comes from actor Bradley Cooper and director Todd Phillips of The Hangover. Greg Hurwitz of Orphan X is writing, and Tim Van Patten from Game of Thrones is directing. This is based on a book by Joby Warwick. Time Warner has now officially bought a stake in Hulu, the streaming service. They purchased 10% of the company for $583 million. Now they're joining the existing owners of Hulu, which includes Fox, Comcast, and Disney, who each own 30% of the streaming service. Turner Cable Content, which is owned by Time Warner, will begin streaming on the service, both on demand and on the upcoming live streaming service that Hulu will be launching in 2017. Turner content will be coming from TNT, TBS, CNN, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, True TV, Boomerang, and Turner Classic Movies. Time Warner also owns HBO and Cinemax, but those are not part of this deal. Lastly, NBC surprised absolutely no one by showing data that says that people are more likely to watch an ongoing series if they have easy access to the earlier episodes of that series. So basically, if a show is on episode 7, someone is more likely to watch it if they can hop online and stream episodes 1 through 6 before. This comes as a surprise to absolutely no one, and should be completely obvious, but NBC put a lot of money into funding on this, and has determined that this is a serious problem, the availability of shows. So hopefully this means we won't see as many shows on Hulu where They only have episodes 3 through 7 available, and the first 2 aren't available. And then episode 8 is coming up, and then by the time that comes out, then episode 3 is no longer there. This kind of pattern that we've been seeing, it just doesn't make sense, and hopefully it'll come to an end soon. And now let's talk about what's coming up on the horizon. On Sunday, August 7th, 2016, Inspector Lewis comes to TBS. On Thursday, August 11th, 2016, Take My Wife comes to CISO. And Triumph Summer Election Special 2016 comes to Hulu. That should be funny. On Friday, August 12th, 2016, The Get Down premieres on Netflix. This isn't going to be the full season, as is normally the case with Netflix, but the first half of the first season. On Sunday, August 21st, 2016, Fear the Walking Dead comes back to AMC. On Tuesday, August 23rd, 2016, Halt and Catch Fire comes back to AMC. On Wednesday, August 24th, 2016, Gomorrah comes to Sundance. On Sunday, August 28th, 2016, The Strain comes to FX. And on Wednesday, August 31st, 2016, You're the Worst comes to FXX, and Shedai comes to Hulu. And now for the question. With Sword Art Online being developed as a live-action series outside of Japan, what other anime properties do you think could work in that format? As always, thank you for tuning in to the week's news on TVEnthusiast.com.